Well, it is once again time for our weekly weather forecast with Nebraska Extension Ag climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, summer is officially here, and it certainly has felt like that outside. What are you tracking as we turn to the week ahead?
Well, Bryce, we've seen that warm weather last weekend, got a little break during the early part of the week, and then, of course, we've seen the renewed heat here the last couple of days, and, of course, we've seen an increase in thunderstorm activity. But prior to that, most of the major moisture was felt in the northern panhandle and a small portion of southwest Nebraska before we seen this warm front kind of bring this warm air up into our region. And of course, the scattered thunderstorm activity that developed from the south up to the north over the last 2 days. Now we're going to be looking at some cooler air coming in before we start to see the heat rebuild as we go into the middle of next week, and a more uncertain pattern as we go into the 4th of July weekend. So as we look at the upper air models, the first thing we'll draw your attention to is the upper air low that is moving across southern Canada, the northern plains. That's brought the cooler air into our region and will push an additional boundary through our state as we go through the afternoon hours, and that'll be the secondary cold front. We do have a low pressure at the surface sitting over northern Texas, bringing a deep set of moisture up into the central plains, and here's that cold front that'll be passing through during the day, and then we'll see a northwest flow on the back side of it, bringing that cool air in as that low goes over toward the Great Lakes. So by tomorrow, high pressure will be firmly in control over the central United States. Cool northwest flow into our region pushes the moisture down to our south, and the main heavy precipitation moves up into South Canada. Now that ridge starts to build back up as we go into Monday. We'll be in a northwest flow, so a little bit cooler conditions in the east compared to the west by about 5 degrees. We should be into the 80s in the east, upper 80s to the west, and precipitation will remain to our south and southeast. Now as we go into Tuesday, we start to see that ridge expand into our region, bringing some drier conditions and warmer temperatures. We should make the low 90s in the southwest, and we'll be looking at the mid to upper 80s across the east northeastern part of the state. We'll start to see some moisture returning to the central mountains with the tropical moisture coming in, monsoonal flow, and by Wednesday we start to see another trough coming into the Pacific Northwest that's going to try to push a cold front through the state slowly as we go through the day. Low pressure over the eastern Dakotas. Not much in the way of precipitation, but we do see still some of that monsoonal moisture, and as we get into Thursday, some of that moisture will start to move up into the central Rockies as this front starts to sag a little bit south, and we'll also have the development of a low pressure system in the western portions of Kansas that will help to keep low level moisture coming up toward the north. So we start to see the spread of that moisture into portions of the panhandle, and by Friday we see that trough bringing the deep moisture in from the southwest. A little wave moves out of that trough, and we do expect, at least from this standpoint in the model, that we will start to see some significant moisture across portions of the state, and that may carry on into the second. There's a little bit of uncertainty there, but certainly a decent shot for some significant moisture from eastern Nebraska all the way through Iowa. If we look a little farther into the future, the Climate Prediction Center's forecast from next Thursday to the following Tuesday essentially keeps the warmer conditions in place, and in terms of precipitation, looks like we're going to see a pretty significant monsoonal flow into our region with several waves coming through, so we do have some additional thunderstorm chances before conditions start to turn a little bit warmer.